Hey guys, welcome. We're glad everybody is here. As you're coming in, we'll get started right at 5:30. The balcony is open. We ask that if you are younger legs and easier to climb steps, we'd ask you to fill up these first middle areas right here, probably the first 12 rows on this side and the first 12 or so rows on this side are our Hall of Fame members. This over this side is team. The back and the balcony is open. Some of you may be with family members and friends, and if they have extra seats in their row, you're welcome to join them on their row, but we wanted to make sure we got all our family in. So again, welcome, and we'll get started at 5:30. Yes.
Guys, we got about 2 minutes. If everybody can find their seats, we're going to start in 2 minutes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. When I was asked to speak tonight, I was not aware that I had the dubious honor of trying to replace Mr. John Coon, who is the voice of the Indians and is a Hall of Fame broadcaster, and I assure you we have significantly downgraded tonight's ceremony. When you hear our inductees' messages tonight, that will be clear to you. I guess Mr. Sharp conveniently forgot to tell me that. Mr. Coon does send his regrets. He's been under the weather for the last week. I know he wishes that he were here. John, I wish you were here as well. I'm Bruce Mulkey. I'm the proud principal, and I'm a proud 1989 graduate of Vidalia High School. That's right. Go Indians. I am honored to welcome you to the induction ceremony for the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023. Tonight, we're going to induct 2 teams and 15 individuals whose contributions to our school and our community have been extraordinary. To our inductees and your families, on behalf of all Vidalia Indians, past, present, and future, I'm proud to be the first to congratulate you on tonight's special recognition, and I thank you for your dedication to our school. Your accomplishments and your personal stories are an inspiration to us all, and they will forever be etched into the rich and proud history of Vidalia High School. Congratulations to each of you. I do want to take just a quick moment to thank the dozens of volunteers who have worked diligently over the past year to prepare for tonight's event. I'm not going to try to name each of them individually because I'll leave someone out, so I'll just say thank you to you all. I do, however, want to recognize Mr. John Sharp for his vision in establishing the Hall of Fame. And for his ongoing passion and service to our school and our community. Mr. Sharp, your love of Vidalia High School is exceeded by no one. You embody the true spirit of what it means to be an Indian, and we are truly, truly grateful for your work. Finally, it's my pleasure to recognize our next guest, who's also played a significant role in the establishment of our hall, and he has served the last 15 years for Vidalia City Schools. No one has done more to promote our students or Vidalia athletics during his tenure. And although he's recently announced his intentions to retire, our hope is that he will continue to work just as John Sharp has. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Garrett Wilcox.
On behalf of the Board of Education here in Vidalia, we'd like to welcome all of you. I feel a little like Bruce. I wish I would have had the opportunity to read his speech. I guess I'd have probably done some modifications to mine. But honestly, I'm just humbled to get to be a part of this. I'm sure Mr. Sharp will share this, but for many years, he and I had the fortune, I don't know another way to say it, to travel to a lot of ball games with Coach Reed. And if there's anything we've discussed over time is we truly wish we would have done this earlier. Coach Reed would have thought this was the greatest thing in the world. I'd be remiss, for those of you that are visiting from out of town, we've been in this building now for 6 years, but every time I come in here, the room you're sitting in is the room I'm most proud of. We didn't have a way to congregate, a place to have events like this, and it just does my heart good to see you all here today sitting in a nice, comfortable seat, not in a cafeteria in which we moved the tables and tried to clean up before you arrived. And to the folks in our community, thank you for giving us this opportunity. Last thing I'll say, John said I had about 30 minutes. I thought I'd cut it down just a little bit. Just to reiterate Mr. Mulkey's piece here with Mr. Sharp, this whole event, what went on last year, is all really just predicated on the passion that Mr. Sharp has for not only this school but this community. There's lots of folks that have contributed. We all do our small little part, but without John driving the ship, this event would have never got off the ground. So if you want to thank somebody, and if it's as special this year as it was last year, make it a point to shake Mr. Sharp's hand and tell him thank you, because he's put countless time and effort into this. One thing I do want to mention, and I promise I'll sit down, when we would have conversations about getting this going, I can honestly say it's not just about athletics. Athletics provided that window, but this is a little more about preserving a history for a school and a community that I think most of you in this room are very proud of. I hope you enjoy the event, and at this point, we'll turn it over to Mr. Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Mulkey and Dr. Wilcox, and again, it is an honor to do this. We are very, very grateful to have a wonderful community. And I was blessed to be raised in this community and to start school in the 8th grade here and return and teach and coach. And after I left around different places, come back and was able to have my dream job of being the Vade High School principal, and am transitioned into retirement, so they stick me with the Hall of Fame ceremony. No, it is something that I am honored to do, and I really do have a great passion. And I'll tell you a little bit about why that, but I want to go to some slides and just do some a big part of this. This doesn't happen because of me. This happens because I can tell a lot of people what to do. And they usually, I guess because of my past role, they do it for me. And they have been wonderful. But if you see these people, I know we've got Pop Photos, who did the photos this morning for you, or this afternoon, and they'll work afterwards too. Anybody that didn't get a group photo, if you want to stop by, they'll accommodate you afterwards. Herf Jones has done a wonderful job, even designed a ring for our Hall of Fame individual members that want a ring for them, and we've got some flyers for that. You can take care of that to them. And Mount Vernon Bank was our corporate sponsor for the meal, so we're very grateful for them. Now, also, the individuals, the legwork, we probably had, no telling how many hundreds and hundreds of volunteer hours that were spent for the individuals. Is on the next slide that I'll show, as Mr. Arnold clicks over for that. The VHS Tribe Network is videotaping this, preserving it for history, and also it is being live streamed right now. So if you have any family or friends at home, you can tell them to go to Vade High School Athletics, and they can click on the link and they can see this live. Stephen Arnold is running our sound back there, and despite all the things that we've made requests, he makes it happen, and he does a wonderful job there. Anna Helms put the slideshow together. I would just send her pictures and scripts and little bullet points, and she would take it and make it into this wonderful thing that we can preserve and honor our inductees tonight. Amanda Mosley and her Family and Consumer Science crew cooked the refreshments and prepared the refreshments that we had enjoyed in the gym. Missy Owens' dance line was a wonderful host and showed our guests here around and helped set up the food that was prepared. Ann Michelle Toole is in charge of all the decorations and the programs. She worked real hard. I was kidding her earlier. I think she didn't think that winning 6 state titles would be enough to get her in the Hall of Fame, so she decided to do a little more. But and I give her a chance to congratulate her on that, because she did this week. Our game day cheer team won their 3rd consecutive state championship, and I think they just need to be congratulated. Corbin Howard is the guy that is manning the camera. I don't know that he wanted me to tell him that, because he was a little nervous about this. Is his first time, but he's doing a wonderful job providing the audio video for us. Miss Lawrence Johnson, best cook in America, and provided a meal. Thank you, Miss Johnson. John Kuhn, he might want to look out next December, because last year he had knee surgery and missed the event. This year he's all looking forward to it. He does a recording, planning to be here at our Master of Ceremony, and he gets the flu, so he is out, but he's invaluable to our school and community. He's the best play-by-play guy around in high school athletics, at least in the state. Miss Legina Whitaker and Miss Melanie Wyndham decorated for us in the lunchroom today. Mr. Carol Williams and his wife Jan are our photographers. And then Susanna and Gray Meredith. This was Gray put up the signs, and if you did not get to see the Hall of Fame sign, just as you walk across the bridge in the gym, all our Hall of Fame signs are up. They look incredible. We're really proud of them. One of them didn't get done until yesterday. Gray was up here this morning, called and said it was done. I said, "Who did you get to do it with you?" He said, "My wife." So you've got a Dr. Meredith, OBGYN, is up here holding a sign so he can get it done. So we're very grateful for those folks. The next group of people I want to show you the slide is somebody that I am very grateful for. These folks are passionate about Vade High School and Vade High School athletics. These are the people that had the task of selecting our first class, and we met for hours and pored over resumes and ended up getting first class. And all of this year's class was discussing this, but somewhere along the line we didn't want a 4-hour ceremony, so we had to just cut the list down, and they did a wonderful job of doing that, and all of them have great passion. I will say that they have connections to Vidalia. They graduated from the city schools of Vidalia with everybody except Coach Daly, who is our athletic director, and we tell him he's the best boys basketball coach in America. Don't tell any coaches outside this or schools outside this area about that. But these people really took it upon themselves to provide a great class, and they have worked a lot of hours. We have meetings, and then they really take the job seriously. The good thing about it is our job has gotten simpler because each year we add a Hall of Fame class. That class will join us in voting for the Hall of Fame members. Now, just quickly, I want to tell you a little bit, why did we do this? Dr. Wilcox already alluded, we want to preserve the history. There's a great deal of history, and some of it we've not returned. We had to dig, and we're excited to find out about the J.D. Dickerson basketball team and their accomplishment that will be honored in a few minutes. But there are a lot of stories that we want to preserve. The second thing we want to do is we wanted it to build a sense of community pride. And I think last year far exceeded that because we had a great deal of pride in the people that came through the Vidalia City Schools and our community, and it showed. We also want to let these inductees be examples for our current students. And then we know it's not about athletics, like Dr. Wilcox said, but I know for me as an athlete, I learned more as an athlete, things that helped me as a high school teacher, with others. I learned how to overcome obstacles, and I learned how to continue to fight when things look really, really bleak. And those are skills that we hope that we will continue to instill in Vidalia High School athletes here that are at our school. So again, we are honored about you being here tonight. I know Coach Daly is fixing to come and tell you a little bit about what we're going to do as far as the Hall of Fame future, but I will tell you, we had over 100 nominees that we went through, looked at their resumes. We got it down to 30, and we put it out to vote. And then the group tonight is the one that is selected. We will do, we did 15 this year, we'll do 10 next year, and were great athletic accomplishments and years and years ago. So we'll try to add to this, and anybody can nominate. You can go to the website on our athletic site and nominate an athlete. Just put down, if they list their accomplishments, don't put John Smith, class of '62. We need to know a little bit about what John Smith did, and then we will vet it, but it will help us out in doing so. We will begin with the class of 20, starting in the 2000s. After next year, we'll start students, but students have to be 20 years past graduation before they will be considered, and it gives them a chance to complete their resume. And like we said last year, 18-year-olds have no idea how young 38 is, but it will get here in a hurry. But again, it is my honor to lead such a great group, and I hope that you enjoy our service. And now I introduce Coach Daly, who will come and tell you a little bit about where the Hall of Fame will be housed.
Mr. Sharp's not lying about the meetings that we have to recognize and nominate. He's actually called one for 8 a.m. in the morning to start working on next year's class. So that's how passionate he is about keeping this going. A little bit about where the Hall of Fame is going to be housed and things we're doing to preserve the legacy. When I stood up here last year, it was all a thought. It was like, here's what we want, and to see things to start to come to fruition is such a positive. Going back and seeing the history is just unbelievable, especially for someone who's not originally from here. It seems like I've been here forever, but it's just those stories, and to hear Mr. Sharp and Dr. Wilcox and those guys tell stories that they heard from the person before them is what has inspired us to get these things on paper or online so that we all can understand and keep that history going and the legacy going. So our plan is now where the Wall of Fame is listed in the gym. We're going to kind of turn that whole area into a time capsule of just information. We finally got our touchscreen TV. It's going down there. The touchscreen has everything, every speech for the Hall of Fame will be on there. We have yearbooks dated back to 1950 on there, so if you want to go look up some of your classmates' pictures one day, go right ahead. It's online, and it's available down. It will be available down by the gym. So those things that we're doing to continue to preserve just the legacy and the history of athletics is amazing. I'll take our kids in there, and they'll start flipping through the speeches, and they'll start flipping through the yearbooks and recognize people, and it's just it's almost like a time capsule, and to see our kids get excited about what those before them did is real encouraging to us. So we're going to continue to push forward and continue to help this grow. And again, we're just this week, all of our coaches have started trying to do their own history updates, and they're giving that information to me, and we've gotten files from coaches that we have to put into that onto their website. So continue to check back on the website. It's housed there. It's also be available in the gym when you come inside the gym. So we've got big plans. I'm excited to hear what the folks have to say here tonight. But thank you for coming, and again, go Indians.
Our first team induction tonight is the 1967-68 J.D. Dickerson girls basketball team. J.D. Dickerson Girls Basketball High School had never won a district title and started the 1967 season with Geraldine Bell, a recent J.D. Dickerson graduate who had never been a head coach before. Coach Bell approached her new job just like she did everything else: hard work and high expectations. The Lady Tigers started out with an impressive 31-14 win over Doc Kemp to get the team off to a good start. Leading scorers for the team that year were Catherine Dixon, who put up 16.5 points a game, Ann Hopkins, 13.4 points a game, and Karen Futch, 13.1 points per game. At that time, girls basketball only allowed players to play on one side, and Gwen Johnson, Doris Smith, and Norma Johnson played the guard positions as stellar defenders. A strong bench provided great depth for the team, who outscored their opponents by an average of 42-27 on their way to a 15-2 record, winning the district title, the highest level at the time. Please join me in welcoming the 1967-68 J.D. Dickerson girls basketball team to the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023.
Team members, when I call your name, please come to the stage and stand in front of the screen. Coach Geraldine Bell. Gwendolyn Broomfield. Helen Corbett Brandyburg. Catherine Dixon Forrest Craig. Accepting for Gloria Ann Dupree is her son, Anthony Dupree. Gloria Edwards Wall. Karen Futch Caesar. Accepting the award for Joanne Harvey Orr is her daughter, Bernicia Harvey. Shirley Ann Hopkins Mormon, Gwen Johnson White, Norma Jean Johnson Williams, Doris Smith, Annie Lanier Collins, Mary Angeline Walton Brown, Mary Frances Williams Daniel, and Mary Woodard Bush. Please join me again in congratulating the 1967-68 J.D. Dickerson girls basketball team district champions. And we're gonna get you. Can y'all tighten up just a little bit for the picture? Tighten up for the picture. There you go. Okay, if you look at Mr. Carroll real quick. You're just fine, Miss Bell. They'll get you. You can look right there. You just look right there. Got it? Thank you, ladies.
Our next team induction is the 1972 and 1973 state championship boys golf teams. The 1972 and 1973 boys golf teams won the second and third state team titles for Vidalia High School and were the first team to win back-to-back titles. Coach Ralph Parsons' 1972 Lynxsters had a talented group of players. After winning the region title, the team advanced to the state tournament. Steve Waugh led the team with a 73, earning him the low medalist honors. The team shot a .315 to beat Aquinas and Roswell by 4 shots. Doug Miller shot a 79, Tom Watley shot an 80, and Jeff Anderson shot an 83 to round out the team scoring. With most of the team returning, they felt they had a chance to repeat as state champions the following year. Led by Steve Waugh's second-place individual finish with a 75 and Tom Watley's fourth-place finish with a 77, the team scored a .319 4-shot victory over Lovett. Doug Miller's 81 and Hal Parsons' 86 were the other counted scores. The win was the first back-to-back titles in school history and started the run of 9 state titles in boys golf, the most in any sport. Please join me in welcoming the 1972 and 1973 state championship boys golf team to the Vidalia Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023.
Jeff Anderson, whose son Brett and daughter Stacy will be accepting his award. David Beddenfield. Sydney Beddenfield. Doug Miller. Pat Parker. Hal Parsons. Robert Thompson, whose sister Lynn will be receiving his award. Steve Waugh, whose father Don will be receiving his award. And Tom Watley. Can you get them all, Mr. Carroll? Okay. Again, join me in congratulating the 1972 and 73 state championship boys golf team.
The Vidalia Hall of Fame Committee voted to establish a Legacy Award to recognize individuals who have made a significant impact on Vidalia High School athletes, coaches, and teams over many years in our community. Individuals do not have to meet the specific requirement of being a coach or graduate of Vidalia High School. It was evident after last year's inaugural ceremony's acceptance speeches who should be the first recipient of the award, as he was mentioned by almost every member of the inaugural class. Ed Smith graduated from Screven County High School and was an outstanding athlete. He received a football scholarship to play football at Clemson, and he later transferred to Georgia Southern to play baseball. He was drafted and served our country in the Korean War from 1953 to 1955. He returned to Georgia Southern and graduated with a degree in physical education. He and his wife Shirley moved to Vidalia in 1957 to become the first recreation director for the city of Vidalia. At the time, there were only 35 communities with a full-time recreation director in the state of Georgia. He began building the Vidalia Recreation Department from scratch, helping raise resources for ball fields, tennis courts, and a swimming pool. Under his leadership, Vidalia developed into one of the most competitive recreation departments in the state, winning multiple state championships in several sports. Almost every athlete in the area began their careers playing with the Vidalia Recreation Department. The positive impact Coach Smith had on young boys and girls will continue to impact our community for years to come. Many young boys and girls under Coach Smith's leadership would grow up to be teachers, coaches, and leaders that would emulate determination, hard work, character, and the competitive spirit they learned from Coach Smith. Among his many honors include being selected to the Screven County High School Athletic Hall of Fame. He's been awarded the GRPA District Professional of the Year in 1979. The 1981 GRPA Commissioner's Award. He was also awarded the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association Distinguished Professional for the year 1993. And in 1995, the city of Vidalia named the youth ball fields the Ed Smith Complex in his honor. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in welcoming Coach Ed Smith to the Vidalia Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023 as the first Legacy Award winner.
It is a plaque that you can see. We'll have to get it off after you finish saying your words.
You're looking at a blessed man. I figured out a few things to say to kind of cut some of the people I know real well. But I tell you what, all I have received tonight is love. And I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody. John, you might want to take a reading from Buck Cravey. He said that the older you get, the better you was. So you wait till you get a little older and you're going to be all right. So I'm blessed to have my family here, and I wish I had one more. Shirley Ray, if she was here, it'd be perfect. But I'm glad they're here, and I'm going to leave out a lot of things I had intended to say and just let you know that I'm blessed to be a Vidalia citizen, and all the help I've received from you people. And just to tell you that God is good.
All right, Coach, we're going to go back. We're going to go back this way. Once you grab hold of my arm right there.
Our next inductee tonight is Hibby Bedingfield. Hibby Bedingfield was a 1967 graduate of Vidalia High School. He lettered 4 years in football, 4 years in golf, 2 years in basketball, 2 years in baseball, and 1 year in track. He excelled in golf, winning low medalist his junior year, helping lead Vidalia to a region title. However, it was in football where his athletic ability truly excelled. Hibby helped lead his team to a 35-10 record with 1 region title and an appearance in the state championship game where they lost to Washington Wilkes. Hibby was selected as honorable mention All-State his junior year and was selected first team All-State and received the Lineman of the Year award, one of 2 Vidalia players to receive the highest honor in school history. He received many scholarship offers to play football, but chose to attend the University of Georgia because he wanted to enroll in the pharmacy program. He played 1 year for the Bulldogs before ending his football career to concentrate on his goal of becoming a pharmacist. He earned his degree and returned to Vidalia to serve his community as a pharmacist for nearly 50 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Hibby Bedingfield to the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame, class of 2023.
I'd like to thank the committee. I'd like to thank the coaches, and especially I'd like to thank my teammates. This would not be possible without them. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee tonight is Wayne Brantley. Wayne graduated Vidalia High School in 1962, lettering 1 year in baseball, 3 years in track, and 4 years in football. He was selected as the most athletic by his senior class. Wayne's performance on the football field earned him his greatest acclaim. He was a 4-year letter winner and a 3-year starter. He served as co-captain his sophomore and junior years and was captain his senior year. Wayne was selected all-region his junior and senior seasons, as well as making the all-middle Georgia team both years. He was also selected honorable mention to the All-State team his sophomore year, and he was first team All-State his junior and senior seasons and played in the Georgia High School North-South All-Star game. His senior year, Wayne was honorable mention High School All-American and signed a football scholarship to play at the University of Georgia. At the University of Georgia, Wayne started for the freshman team on the offensive line. He would letter 3 years and was a starting guard his junior and senior seasons. His junior year, the team finished 7-3-1, including a memorable victory over Texas Tech in the Sun Bowl. During his senior year, Georgia upset Alabama 18-17 to give Coach Vince Dooley his first victory over legendary Alabama coach Bear Bryant. Wayne was one of several UGA players who hoisted Coach Dooley on their shoulders and carried him to shake Coach Bryant's hand in what became an iconic moment in UGA history. The team would go on to beat 2 other teams ranked in the top 10, Clemson and Michigan. They lost to 2 top 10 teams in Florida State and Kentucky and lost games to Florida and Auburn by an average of just 3 points. The team finished the year 6-4. After graduation, Wayne coached for several years in South Carolina and Georgia before returning to Vidalia to work in business. Please join me in welcoming to the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023, Wayne Brantley.
Wrote all this down in it's not a whole lot, but I want to thank, am I going to read my notes? There we go. That ain't an omen, I hope. I'm going to thank the committee. This is an honor to be at this place and time in my life. When you look back at faces in the crowd and you see today for the people that you grew up with, that grew up ahead of you, that you looked on as idols. First of all, my mother and father, in a unique way of sort of egging you on to play football and to train like you're supposed to, and it was all met with hard work. I want to thank the people that recognize the coaches ahead of time, ahead of me in my life. Coach Frank Fabris, Mike McName's remembers him, Coach Parsons, and Coach Harvey McNeese, Coach Buck Cravey. I'd like to thank a student basketball coach who was at Vidalia when I was in the 7th grade, and at that time we were required to play basketball because that helped us in football. Well, this student basketball coach told me one time when he saw me dribbling down the court, he said, "Brantley, you've got the agility of a dump truck on a basketball court. Why don't you take to football, start lifting weights and do something that's good?" I think that my family produced one of the greatest athletes that ever came out, and that was James Brantley. I remember going to the state track meet with my Uncle Barrett, who was James's daddy, me sitting in the center seat, and Coach Frank Fabris driving down there. James was in the back seat, laying down, resting, getting ready for the meet. And somewhere along the way, we were talking about something, and Coach Fabris said, "Wayne, one of these days, I want to bring you up here." Duck-butted guard, that grunted every time he went over a high hurdle. That's what it took to get over. James just glided. But anyway, Travis McBride, Mike McNames, Bobby Dixon, Ronnie Dixon, John Elder, you remember, George Williams, and others. You people here just make everything happen, and we just thank you for what is being done at this school and in the coaching and athletics. Thank you.
Our next inductee tonight is Ronnie Dixon. Mayor Ronnie Dixon was a 1960 graduate of Idalia High School and excelled in basketball, track, and football. He was a 4-year letter winner for Coach Parsons, playing guard on the basketball team. He was a sprinter on the track team, winning a state championship as a member of the 440 relay team in 1958. On the football field, Ronnie's ability proved most impressive. He was a 4-year letter winner and a 3-year starter on the football team, helping lead his team to a 28-13-3 record over 4 years with 3 trips to the playoffs. He rushed for over 4,000 yards in his career and was named All-State and the Class B Back of the Year in 1960. After his senior year, he signed a scholarship to play football at Florida State, where he was the leading rusher on the freshman team. He later transferred to the University of Georgia and played in the G-Day game. Mayor Dixon went on to graduate from the University of Georgia with a BA degree in business administration. He then returned to Vidalia and became a successful businessman, serving on the city council for 16 years before being elected as mayor of Vidalia for 26 years. Vidalia named the city park where the amphitheater is located the Ronnie A. Dixon City Park after his death in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming posthumously Mayor Ronnie Dixon to the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023.
Receiving the award for Mayor Dixon is his son, Rad.
I'm Ronnie Dixon Jr., class of 1986 here at Vidalia High School. But on behalf of our family, our extended family and our friends, I'd like to accept this award. He's always been in our Hall of Fame, so we're excited about this. I know he's looking down on us right now, and he's excited. He was a true Vidalia Indian. He was a true Vidalia person. All things Vidalia, it didn't matter where you were or where we were at, he was talking about Vidalia. And he loved this community. He loved all you guys out there, and I know he's looking down on us excited, and you know, we're excited for him as well. But we'd also like to thank the committee here, Mr. Sharp. He's done an excellent job putting this together, all the committee members. We appreciate it, and thank you so much. Oh, and congratulations to my Uncle Wendell.
Our next inductee tonight is Wendell Dixon. Wendell, like most students that graduated from Vidalia, got his start at the Vidalia Recreation Department playing for Coach Ed Smith. He won many first-place awards in swimming, won state at the GRPA state track meet, won the Ford Motor Company punt, pass, and kick competition, and played football, basketball, and baseball. In high school, Wendell lettered 4 years in basketball and was a 3-year starter. His team played in the state playoffs each year and won region, advancing to the semifinals his junior year. He lettered 4 years in track, winning the sub-region championship in shot put and discus his senior year of high school. Wendell's most notable successes were in his football career. He was a 4-year letter winner and a 3-year starter at tight end and defensive end. He was also the punter and kicker. His senior year, he was selected as team captain. The team would go on to finish 14-0, the school's first perfect record, and to this date, the only football state championship. Wendell received many awards, including Most Valuable Lineman, was selected as first team All-State, was chosen to play in the North-South All-Star Game, and was selected All-Middle Georgia his junior and senior years. In 1975, he was selected to the Silver Anniversary Vidalia High School football team. After being heavily recruited by more than 20 schools, he signed a scholarship to play at the University of Georgia. At Georgia, he started on the defensive line for the freshman team, leading in tackles. He played second-team right tackle in the spring game before giving up football. However, he later reprised his football role, playing one more game as a football player in the movie The Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds. He was number 66, the right offensive guard for the prison guard team. After football, he graduated from Georgia Southern with a BS in economics and the UGA banking school in 1994. He and his family live in Vidalia, where he is the CEO, Executive Vice President of People's Bank. Wendell has been very active with many civic clubs, serving on many boards, and was selected as the 2001 Vidalia Citizen of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the Vidalia Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023, Wendell Dixon.
that's hard to follow after Ronnie. I got kind of teary-eyed, but anyway, I'd like to thank the committee. John, you've done a great job. I appreciate y'all inducting me into the Hall of Fame. I'm just so proud to be in here with my brother Ronnie and 3 of my teammates off the state championship team. Tommy Sasser, Lynn Hodges, and Mike Johnston are all going to be inducted tonight too. We had a great football team. Next year, this time next year, will be 55 years since we won the state championship. So we'll have a reunion next year, guys, hopefully, if we can walk on the field and all. But I want to recognize a few of my coaches. Of course, my first coach was Coach Ed Smith, sitting out here. I'm so proud that they inducted him tonight. I played football, basketball, baseball, track, swimming, swim team. I did everything under Coach Smith, and I think that's all the sports we had back then, wasn't it, Coach? But I played everything. Coach Smith was a great coach. He's a great man. And back in those days, I mean, he did it pretty much by himself. He didn't have a big staff. I mean, he was the head coach, and just so proud to have played for you, Coach Smith. Then Coach Cravey. Lord, he was a mess, but I was on his, I was actually on his first team when I was in the 10th grade. That's when he became a head coach, and we had a pretty good year of that year. I can't remember our record. Then his second year, which was my junior year, we played for the South Georgia Championship here in Vidalia, and Irwin County beat us 13-6. The next year, that's when we won the state championship. We went 14-0, and we played Irwin County again in Irwin County and beat them 45-20. So we had a little payback there. And I think Tommy, Lynn, and Michael tell you we scored about 3 times. They called it back. They didn't want us to run it up too bad. So, but anyway, then I played for Coach Parsons. He was a great man, great coach, brilliant man. 4 years basketball under him. He was a great coach. And then Coach Reed, Chunk Reed. Chunk was assistant with Coach Cravey on our football team. And then everybody knows what he did with the girls basketball and all that. And I think he coached me in B team also. And he coached baseball. I didn't play baseball my senior year, but he coached the baseball team, and I think they were state runner-up that year. But anyway, I had some great coaches. I just thank all of y'all. I think back, and I just know work ethic I learned from all of y'all, my coaches, I think, has instilled in me to make me what I am today. And I thank y'all for that.
Our next inductee to the class of 2023 is Anthony Forrest. Anthony Forrest was a talented multi-sport athlete who graduated from Vidalia High School in 1993. Anthony led her 2 years in baseball and 1 year in track. He was the 3-year letter winner in football and started 3 years. Anthony's senior year, he was the starting quarterback and team captain and was named All-Region. His teams were 30-7 with 2 region titles during his career. In addition to his achievements on the football field, Anthony's ability shone brightest on the basketball court. He led her 3 years and was a 3-year starter. His team had a record of 67-13 with 1 region title, 2 quarterfinal appearances, and played for a state championship 1 year. He was selected All-State his junior and senior years and played in the GHSA All-Star Game. His senior year, Anthony won the slam dunk contest. Anthony signed with Grambling University and played his freshman season before transferring to Georgia Southern for his sophomore year. At Georgia Southern, Anthony was a 3-year starter during the most successful period of basketball at Georgia Southern, playing for legendary coach Frank Kearns. Anthony helped lead Georgia Southern to 67 wins over his 3 years, where they earned a conference title and trips to the NCAA and NIT tournaments. In his junior year, Georgia Southern played against Syracuse in the Carrier Dome in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Syracuse would end up finishing the tournament runner-up and their team included 8 future NBA players. In the game, Anthony had a strong performance and helped Georgia Southern lead for much of the game until their big man, Jeff Sanders, a future NBA first-round draft pick, fouled out. Georgia Southern would go on to lose 79-73, but Anthony scored 16 points and had 5 rebounds in the game. He ended his career averaging over 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, and almost 2 steals a game. His total steals were tops in Georgia Southern history, and total assists were second in school history when he graduated. After graduating from Georgia Southern with a degree in education, Anthony became a successful high school basketball coach at several schools, including time coaching at Vidalia High School. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in welcoming Anthony Forrest to the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame, class of 2023.
It's a nice plaque. Just one correction. I graduated in 1983, not 19. Love my 1983 classmates, Kelly Brantley. I think she's one of the ones out there. There you go. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Vidalia. Thanks, Vidalia High School. I'd like to thank the committee because this is just the second year of existence, and there were a lot of people who are deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. So it's such an honor to go into the Hall of Fame in the second class. When John called me up, I was happy that I'd received the call because it was one of my things to do was beat my daughter in somebody's Hall of Fame. If you don't know my daughter is a 4-time state champion in track and field. She's also a national champion in the NCAA track and field. So we used to always ask who's the better athlete. And she's a high school and collegiate All-American too. So I think with those accomplishments that she's obtained, I think you could say that she is the better athlete. Once again, thanks everybody. And I like to thank the people that I'm going in with. It's such a great class. The legendary Coach Ed Smith, who I was able to win a state championship in junior basketball with, and also with Greg James, who is went into the first class. I won 2 state championships with him. And then I got a chance to go in also with Tommy Sasser, who was my JV, well, my RB team. Most people refer to it as a JV coach now. So it's an honor to go in with those guys. And also I want to thank the teachers that I had. I had some great teachers along the way. So they are our true unsung heroes. And I've heard people say teachers don't get paid enough. Let's just stop saying that and let's get to work so that so teachers can get paid. All right. I also had the honor of going in with this class with 2 of my aunts. I didn't know that they play basketball. And Catherine Dixon Forrest, Craig, and Gloria Edwards, who I hear was on that team also. I didn't know until about 2 weeks ago that they played basketball and they were being honored as well. So it's such a great honor to go in with this class with all these people that came in with me. And to all those people you have relatives and your turn is coming, who think you should be in, you'll get there one day and think things get better. And it's great to go into this second class because some of the things that they did last year, they're doing it different this year. And I was telling I was telling Johnny Taylor earlier that wait your turn and be patient, and probably by the 10th or 15th year, when this is going on, that maybe you won't have to buy a ring. Maybe they'll be giving away rings and jackets. So things are going to get better. They're going to get better because, I mean, if you look at the past, things are better. Look at the school that the kids have now. There's a nice auditorium, nice school. If you played football here at Vidalia High School, everybody remember the old baseball field where we practiced, and the grass just grew everywhere. And look at the facilities that Vidalia have now. I was over at Decatur High School in Metro Atlanta, and I was talking to the AD there, and I was complimenting him on the facilities that they were having. He said, "You know, Anthony, I went down with a group of people, and we went to Vidalia High School, and we saw what they had there at Vidalia High School. And this is the plan that we use. We use the same plan that they had to sell to our people here in Decatur. So everybody's heard about Vidalia. Everybody knows about Vidalia. So it's I felt very proud when he said Vidalia High School, and I said, you know, I'm from Vidalia. But being elected to the Hall, it brings back memories that I had forgotten. And some of the memories are the maroon bus. Everybody remember the maroon bus? I thought we had the coolest bus that a high school could have. I used to always wonder why everybody else had a yellow bus and we had a maroon bus. And later on I found out, but my teammates were wonderful. I played on the 1982 basketball class. I think that was probably the best team I played on. And people talk about how great we were. And I was in the gymnasium one day, and one of the art teachers, Mr. Jimmy Beasley, or Johnny Beasley, is it Jimmy? He came by, and people always talked about how great we were, how we did this on the basketball court, how we did that on the basketball court. But he gave us one of the biggest compliments that still resonates with me today was, he said, you know, y'all had a great team, but I never saw any of you guys in the office. Never saw any of you guys didn't get in trouble. So I thought that was one of the greatest compliments he can give us. And each time I see some of the guys that I play with, I always remind them that. And I played for some great coaches. When I went out to Grambling, I had a coach that he got so upset with me one day that he started on this side, cussing me out, came all the way down to this side, cussing me out. And I can remember Coach Cravey, Coach Jones, Coach Parsons, and the only bad thing they ever said to me was the word damn. And the words that guy used. So I went home that night and I cried. I wanted to quit basketball. But I knew that if I quit, who was going to pay for school? So I transferred over to Georgia Southern, and I got over there, guess what? That guy cussed more than the other guy. But I had learned then by that time that you let it come in this ear and it goes out of this ear faster than it goes in this ear. So to say that, so when you hear negative things, you just let them come in this ear and hopefully they go out this ear faster than the other. And lastly, like I said, I want to thank and the coaches. I mean, they were such great coaches. I mean, they did things for us. I can remember listening to Coach Parsons, some of the words that some of the guys said that he took some of them to get licensed. I was like, Coach, I didn't know you did all that. He was like, yeah. So they were great individuals, and I played some great coaches, and I'm willing to put them, match them with some of all the coaches, and I still think we have some of the best coaches. And I like to thank my family that is here, my sister, my brother, and my dad. They've all been they all helped me do some wonderful things, and I love them dearly. So I want to thank them, thank my family, friends, and also I just want to thank you all. And I want to thank the people who have prayed for me over the years, and I hope you continue to pray for me. And Vidalia, I love you, God bless you, and thanks again for this award.
Our next inductee is Nancy Hansley. Nancy Hansley was a 1973 graduate of Vidalia High School. She lettered 3 years in girls basketball, starting all 3 years. Over her 3 seasons on the Lady Indians, the team had a record of 56-26, finishing second in the region each year and advanced to the state playoffs, ending all 3 seasons in the top 10 in state rankings. She was known for her strong defensive presence and earned the nickname of Rejector because of her ability to block shots. Nancy's greatest accomplishments came as an elite track athlete. At the state track meet in 1973, she became the first female to win an individual state championship when she won the 880, finishing in a state record time of 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Her performance helped lead her team to a 4th place finish at the state track meet. Nancy graduated from Georgia Southern University with a BS degree in elementary education. She taught at Sally D. Meadows for 8 years, in Hinesville for 2 years, and then moved to Texas where she retired after 35 plus years of teaching. Currently, Nancy is working on building her own educational business and has published 2 books and is a requested speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023, Nancy Hansley.
I need light too. Thank you. And thank you for the award. First of all, I want to say good evening. Never in a million years did I think I would be here. After receiving a call from John and briefly speaking with him, I couldn't help but shed a few tears. I was shocked totally. First, I give honor to God, who is first and foremost in my life. And I honor each and every one of you here on this evening. A big congratulations to all of the selectees for the first class, this class, and others to come. As I stand before you on this platform, all of you and many others that paved the way are standing with me, so I am not standing alone. To the amazing visionary John Sharp, his awesome team, one that my sister, the notable Kara Hansley, and my classmate Eddie Singleton, and the other members and the sponsors and everybody who had a part in this awesome program, I commend you for a job well done. Can we give them a round of applause? To my parents, Pearlie and David Hansley Sr., my mother, who, a little Vermont, who left to go and be with the Lord, who are looking down right now smiling. And I just thank God for my parents because they instilled so many lifelong lessons in me that I learned, and they were my #1 fans. They loved to hear my name called on the radio and TV, and they always would let me know. They couldn't be at the game, but they were my biggest cheerleaders. To my family who sit in the audience, if they will, my family, just wave, turn around and wave, which includes my siblings, my son. My daughter was going to be here, but due to some death in the family, she couldn't be here. My brother was going to be here. He couldn't be here because of illness in the family. But I just want to thank them because they played a big part in my life as well, especially my brothers, who taught me to be one of the best basketball players by playing backyard basketball when we lived in the projects. They, too, are some of my biggest fans. And I just want to thank God for my children who inspire me every day. To my grandchildren, I have 6 children, 26 grandchildren, who are unstoppable, and they are unbeatable, and I just thank God for them. To my sister, I want to say this, to my sister Martha Brown. She couldn't be here. She wanted to be here. She's in Orlando, Florida, but she told me to be sure to tell my story. To my relatives, classmates, I have some of my classmates here on tonight. Teammates, to name a few, Laretha Jones, Marsha Pye, Janet Jackson, Bezel Cooper, Kay Thompson, Polly Ann Fields, Linda and Louise Taylor, Miriam Robbins, and others. I just want to thank them dearly for helping me to be one of the best team players ever. Last but not least, to the greatest coach, outstanding coach, my only coach, Coach Chunk Reed, who pushed me to be an athlete during my years at not only at Vidalia High School. He drafted me when I was in the 8th grade at J.R. Tripp Middle School. I guess he looked at me and he just said, Nancy, he didn't ask me. He told me he wanted me to play basketball. So, you know, Coach Reed, I couldn't say no. And I thank you. I just want to tell you all that he was the best coach ever. Not only was he a coach, he was like a father to me away from school. And he had a way of bringing the best out of each one of us on the team, whether it was basketball or track and field. And not only did he push me in basketball, he pushed me in track as well. And I'll never forget, I want to share this story. I was walking home one night after a basketball game. We had played a team from Reedsville, Georgia. We were walking home after the game, and we had whipped their socks off. Well, here comes the police and Coach coming down the street, and Coach called my name. He said, Nancy. He said, I need to see you. And I said, me? And he said, yes, you. I said, okay. He said, don't worry, Nancy. It's nothing to be alarmed about because I know you didn't do what they say you did. They told him that I had jumped one of the players, but I had not. He said, that's just, they said that because they want you off the team, because I had blocked every thing that was coming up. And so he told me, he said, you don't have to worry. I know your character. Character matters. And so I just thank God that he knew me not only as a player, but he knew my character. So we were able to keep walking. I didn't have to answer any questions. Coach Reed took good care of that. And when it came to track, I tell you, and field, he had me doing everything as well as the others. But during track, when we would practice, he would have the whole track team to run a whole block. We had to run 4 blocks, maybe 2 or 3 times a day when we practiced. And he always told me, Nancy, I want you to stand right here with me. Don't you run yet. And I looked at him like, is he out of his mind? They going a whole block, and he didn't want me to move. But nevertheless, when they made that block, he said, now you run, Nancy. I ran, and every time I made it in, I left the team a whole block. And I didn't understand then what Coach was doing, but he just really brought out the best in me. And I want to tell y'all this. My career started at J.R. Tripp Middle School, but it ended at Vidalia High School. And I want to say this because I want to help somebody. At the age of 17, I went to this gospel tent. I was taught that it was a sin to wear pants from the preachers that were there. And so I went to Coach Reed and I talked to him about it. And Coach told me, no, Nancy, you're being taught wrong. And other people told me, my mom and daddy told me, my brothers and sisters told me, but Nancy didn't listen to anybody because I really wanted to be saved so bad. I wanted a relationship with God. And, I realized years later that I didn't have to give up my sports. I didn't have to stop with the pants. But I thank God that, not only as an athlete, I was robbed of some things because I quit my senior year. I was going to be voted the most athletic female. I was going to receive a 4-year scholarship. And I had a chance to go to the Olympics. Coach Reed was pushing me for that. But I gave it all up. And although I gave that up, I did get voted most versatile for senior superlatives. And also, I got voted for that. And I want to tell you all this because this was so important to me, the things that I learned as an athlete, okay? I may have lost some things, but the things that I learned as an athlete are still in me, such as being a good sport, goal setting, humbleness, self-confidence, teamwork, and most of all, leadership. All of which I've used and still use today as a parent, as a teacher, and as a minister. Thank you, and may God bless you, and God bless John Sharp and his awesome committee to continue to carry the torch of the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Y'all pray for me.
Tonight's next inductee is Sonny Hendricks. Sonny Hendricks is the 1965 graduate of Vidalia High School. He lettered all 4 years in high school in football, baseball, basketball, and track. In baseball, he played center field and led the team in batting his junior and senior years. In track, he ran the 100-yard dash and the low hurdles, as well as running on the relay team, and he long jumped for the Indians. Sonny was a 3-year starter for the basketball team and a team captain his senior year. It was in football, however, where he is remembered for his exceptional performance. He was a 4-year starter at quarterback and served as team captain for 3 years. He was recognized as honorable mention All-State by the Atlanta Journal his junior year and made the All-State his senior year. He was named most athletic his junior and senior years and was the most valuable male athlete at Vidalia High School the 1963 and 64 school year. After high school, he signed a football scholarship with the University of South Carolina, where he served as co-captain for the freshman team. The next year, he transferred to Troy State and lettered 3 years and was a member of the NAIA National Championship team in 1968. In 1975, Sonny was selected to the Vidalia High School Silver Anniversary Team by the Vidalia Advance. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Sonny Hendricks to the Vidalia Athletic Hall of Fame Class of 2023.
It's going to be hard to follow all the people who have done this so far, and I strictly are going to read what we wrote and what I wanted to write. And the lights aren't working, I can tell you now. First of all, I want to thank the committee for creating the Hall of Fame and selecting me as among a group of athletes honoring Ed Smith. Ed Smith did so much for the youth in Vidalia. I'd also like to remember Coach Ralph Parsons taking our athletic ability and knowledge to the next level and teaching us discipline to succeed in sports and in the integrity to being a good man. These gentlemen prepared us for college sports because of them and Vidalia robust programs, we all had the opportunity to complete in varsity sports. Without them, I don't know if we'd be ready. I also want to thank my wife Judy and daughter Nicole. While they weren't here when I was playing sports, Judy cared for me in the future with my knee and arm replacement. I had many happy memories of my time playing sports in Vidalia High School. I made more friends competing and learned many lessons on the field. My experience here opened the door to a college scholarship, which led me to gave me more opportunities. With the opportunities, I was fortunate enough to be more of a businessman in the future. Thank you, Vidalia. Thank you to the committee.
This evening's next inductee is Lynn Hodges. Lynn Hodges is a 1970 graduate of Vidalia High School and excelled in 4 sports. He was a 3-year letter winner and starter in football and was a leading receiver of the 1969 state championship football team. As a receiver, he was quarterback Tommy Sasser's favorite target, and their connection proved instrumental in the comeback win over Southeast Bullock in the first round of the state playoffs, on their way to a 14-0 record and the school's only football state championship thus far. At the end of the season, Lynn was recognized as honorable mention All-State. Lynn lettered 4 years in basketball and was a 3-year starter. The team played in the state playoffs each year, winning region. His junior year, Vidalia advanced to the semifinals, where he was recognized as All-State. Lynn also lettered 4 years in baseball, helping lead his team to region titles in 1967 and 1968. He also lettered 2 years in track. At the end of his senior year, Lynn signed a football scholarship to play at the University of Tampa. After 1 year of football, he transferred to the University of Georgia and became a pharmacist, serving in Vidalia until his retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in welcoming Lynn Hodges to the Vidalia Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023.
Good evening, everybody. Such a pleasure to be up here tonight. I see a lot of my heroes down in the front row. Too many to mention. I'm thankful to say that tonight I have my family here, Natalie and her husband, who, by the way, he'll kill me for saying this, but he quarterbacked his 7A Dunwoody football team to the state championship during the mid-90s, so I did want to say that. They have athletic children, and so much so that they're so busy with their athletics that we have to make an appointment to go see them. So when I knew the event was coming up tonight, I was happy because I thought, well, maybe they'll come and I'll get to see them. Quite an award. To quote Lou Gehrig, and Coach Smith said it so admirably too, and when he was retiring from Major League Baseball with ALS, he said the night that he gave his final speech that he was the happiest man on the face of the earth, and I feel a good bit like that tonight. I feel happy to have been able to grow up in a town like Vidalia, Georgia, that in the 50s and 60s, high school football was the only game in town. And I grew up probably 150 yards from Charles Wood Field up on Green Street, and I can still have vivid memories of the band and the excitement and the lights on Friday night. And as I said, I still remember that to this day. I wanted to say a little about 3 of the guys that are going to be inducted with me tonight off of that state championship team, and one of the reasons that I'm probably standing here tonight. You know, it helps you a lot to get on a team like this when you win the state championship, so I'm thankful to say that those guys really contributed to that team. Mike Johnston, I was looking at some old midget varsity basketball pictures the other day, and all of us were 8th graders, Wendell, Tommy, myself, Bill Bedingfield, and looked down at this little short guy in front of everybody, and it was Mike Johnston. He made that 8th grade team in the 5th grade. So we knew it was a great indication that he was going to be some kind of athlete that he turned out to be. He was a starting defensive back, we played a 3-deep secondary. He was a starting safety on that ball team, and I was glad to have him every time he was back there playing with me. Great guy. Tommy Sasser. What can you say about Tommy Sasser? Probably one of the best, arguably the best quarterback to ever come through Vidalia High School. Tommy knew how to run the offense. He knew how to run that team, and I feel sure he was the best passer that's ever come through. We would go to Buck and I'd say, Coach Cravey, I can get open anytime you want me to. And with such a good running game, he didn't want to do it. And so when I'd say I can get open, he said, I know that. So and then he'd call a running play. But we would have not won that championship without both of these guys. The next one being Wendell Dixon. Wendell was a force on the field. He was literally a man playing among boys. He was probably 30 pounds bigger than everybody else, and all his opponents feared him too. He could do it all. I mean, he could punt, he could kick off, he could kick field goals, he could catch passes, he could block, and I don't doubt in a tight he could have been a quarterback if he wanted to. But when you play with guys like that, it makes you a lot better player. So I'm happy and fortunate to have played with those guys. I don't want to go any further. I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the coaches that all of you have done tonight too. And to me, it starts with Ed Smith. I tell people I felt like sometime he was my dad. I spent more time with him than I did my real daddy. I was like someone up here earlier that said they played all the sports. We played football, basketball, baseball, and ran track. So when you practice for 3 hours every afternoon, that's more time than you spend with your parents at night. So I always admired him, still do admire him, and I say to this day I'm scared to death of him. But maybe I should change that and say I fear him. And if I say it in the same way that we say about our Lord, fear is honor and respect, and that's what I have for Ed Smith. Coach Buck Cravey, what can you say about Coach Buck Cravey? It was fun to play under him, and it was quite comical at times too. A lot of times we'd change the play and score a touchdown, and it would make him mad. He'd never like to run the score up, so he'd just end up saying, okay, run something. Had other great coaches too. Coach Parsons, we always had a lot of admiration for him. His favorite line to Tommy and I was, Tommy Sasser, you don't know what you're doing, and Lynn Hodges doesn't know that much. But it was a great place to grow up, and I'm so thankful to be around all of you folks tonight. Thank you for this honor.
Our next inductee is Mike Johnston. Mike Johnston is a 1973 graduate of Vidalia High School. He lettered 3 years in basketball, receiving the Sixth Man Award twice, top free throw shooter once, and was named to the All-Tournament team in the Lions Christmas Tournament. Mike was a 4-year letter winner in baseball, playing catcher, outfielder, and pitching. His freshman year, the team was South Georgia champions, losing in the state finals to Roswell. Over his junior and senior seasons, his team had a record of 42-2 with a region championship title. Mike's greatest success came in his memorable performance on the football field. He was a 4-year starter for the Indians, including starting as a freshman as a safety and leading the team in interceptions for the state championship team. Over the next 3 seasons, he started at quarterback, fullback, and tailback. His junior and senior year, the team won region. As junior, they advanced further to the state semifinals, and Mike was named honorable mention All-State. Mike had several scholarship offers and signed with Troy State, where he became a 4-year letter winner, playing for future NFL coach Chan Gailey. He played linebacker and on the defensive line his first 3 years before being moved to offensive guard his senior year. He helped lead his team to the Gulf South Championship his senior year. While at Troy State, he also lettered in baseball for 2 years, playing as a first baseman and catcher. He batted .297 and finished tied for the team lead in home runs, and is one of few alumni to have lettered in 2 sports in college. Mike graduated from Troy State with a degree in criminal justice and a minor in history. He worked for the railroad and was co-owner of Battery Tire Store and was a seller of new and used cars up until his retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mike Johnston to the Vidalia Athletic Hall of Fame, class of 2023.
This is the only speech I've ever made in my life, so I'm going to read a lot. I'm going to read a little bit of it, and then I'm going to skip some of it. It said, I am very excited to be voted into the Sports Hall of Fame from Vidalia. Being from Vidalia is a great thrill. I loved it all the time I was here. We had so much fun when we were growing up. It's just a great place to be from. And I'd like to give a special thanks to everybody that had anything to do with it, the committee, John Sharp, all that you did for us for it. We just want to give a special thank you. I'm proud to have my family here tonight. They came over from Alabama. It's a short drive, but it's not too bad. We really had some, let's see, I don't want to go there. The training and experience and guidance I received in Vidalia played a big role in the success I had as a teammate in football and baseball at Troy. You know, and he said in his piece then that I was 3-year letterman in as defensive tackle and 1 year as offensive guard. None of you people have ever seen me in anything but a running back number 9 because I'd never done that, so I did it. I went down there, I asked the coach, I said, where should I go? He said, go down there with that group, and I went down there, and I got down there, and I found out it was the defensive line. I said, wait a minute, somebody's made a mistake. But I was so young, and I was so scared, I wouldn't say anything to him, and so I ended up on the defensive line for 3 years. I got to say a special thank you to my teammates. You can't do anything like this without your teammates. I got some good friends, David Benfield, Bill Strickland, Greg Williamson. We all had lots and lots of fun on those courts. Coach Smith over here with Coach Smith. We appreciate what you've done for us, Coach Smith. We appreciate what the rest of the coaches have done for us. Thank you very much.
This evening's next inductee is Mike McNames. Mike McNames graduated from Vidalia High School in 1958. Every year he participated in the school's organized sports program, football, basketball, baseball, and track. Despite his demanding athletic schedule, Mike was named valedictorian of the 1958 class, an incredible feat of hard work and dedication. In his junior and senior years, he was named the football MVP and additionally was voted most athletic by his classmates. Vidalia was the regional B-class champion in football but lost in the B-class semifinals. Mike earned all-state honors in his senior year and played in the North-South All-Star game. In track, Mike ran the 100-yard dash and the 180-yard low hurdles and was a member of the state champion 440 relay team in 1958. He played baseball for 3 years as pitcher and third baseman and basketball for 4 years. After the football All-Star game in Atlanta, several Georgia Tech coaches approached Mike, who had yet to receive any athletic scholarships, and encouraged him to walk on at Tech. Mike walked on and at the season end received a scholarship. He was redshirted his sophomore year, but during his senior year and third year of eligibility, Mike made honorable mention All-SEC and was named a third-team All-American. While Mike received many accolades for his football play, perhaps the most memorable is the 1962 game against number 1 ranked Alabama and Bear Bryant. On this November day at home, Mike and his teammates defeated the Tide 7-6. In that game, Mike intercepted a pass from Alabama's quarterback Joe Namath, scored a touchdown on an 11-yard run, and made the saving tackle on a 2-point conversion attempt, sealing the victory. After receiving a BS in civil engineering, Mike served 2 years in the U.S. Army. Upon discharge, he returned to Georgia Tech to graduate school while helping to coach the freshman football team. Following graduation, he became interested in Campus Crusade for Christ and started up a ministry, Athletes in Action. His first assignment with Athletes in Action was working with coaches in Southern California. His next assignment was directing the ministry of Campus Crusade and Athletes in Action in Alabama, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Auburn. After 6 years in the ministry, Mike utilized his engineering background and began a lifetime profession in the oil and gas industry in Jackson, Mississippi, where he now resides. Please join me in welcoming Mike McNames to the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame Class of 2023.
It goes without saying anything that a lot has changed in 65 years. Graduating in 1958 has been a long time. Growing up in Vidalia, I had the attitude that there was nothing I couldn't do, whether it was athletically or scholastically, nothing I couldn't do. I didn't mean that necessarily that I was going to be the best, but it means I could be involved. I could be on a team. That was important. And as most everybody that's been up here has said, nobody's here on their own. There's a lot of people behind them. For me, it was Frank Fabers, Coach Parsons, Ed Smith. There was Miss Connor. She taught me algebra and calculus and got me prepared to go to Georgia Tech. A lot of people back there. Another guy was Ed Kemp. Some of you may know Ed. He was my friend and a mentor. Good friend. Anyway, I look at these accolades of everybody here, and I wonder what I can say about our 58 team. We went to the semifinals. I guess that's something. But we were not that good. In fact, some of you may realize that on some teams there's not that many players, and so you end up scrimmaging one side of the line against the other. That's what we did. But we were a good group of guys. We enjoyed each other. One of those guys is the one that called me and told me that I had been elected to the Hall of Fame, Bonnie Dixon. A few days ago, maybe a week ago, he had a heart attack and he had 4 stents put in. So we're getting to the age, some of you may know, that these things happen to us. Anyway, I proceeded through my year of 58, was about to graduate. I didn't have a scholarship. I had already made an application to Georgia Tech and been accepted. I was about to play in the All-Star game. About halfway through the practice session that week, a couple of the Tech coaches came to me and told me that they recognized that I was going to be a student at Georgia Tech, and they encouraged me to walk on. I had to think about that. Walk on. What does that mean? So I said, okay, I'll walk on. I became a part of the freshman team. There was a Tuesday that I remember going out there with some of my teammates, and there was a varsity player there, and the varsity player was telling the freshman teammates that I had that you're going to scrimmage the varsity on Saturday. This was Tuesday. And he said, don't worry about it. He said, college is a lot like high school, maybe a little faster, maybe they hit a little harder, but, not much difference. Not much difference. Oh, yeah, there is one thing. Look out for Maxie. I said, Maxie will hurt you. Maxie was Maxie Bond, who had been an All-American there a couple of years at Georgia Tech. So we entered into the scrimmage, and somewhere towards the end, I wasn't really worried about anything because I was on a depth chart. I was listed as the 6th string halfback. And so I was somewhat relaxed, but I heard my name called. And, I'm normally somewhat shy. I don't like to get into arguments, anything like that. But I went into the game, and I wasn't in the huddle 5 seconds, and I get in an argument with the quarterback. But he says he's going to give me the ball anyway. So I get the ball, and I'm going off my left side, off the tackle there, and I look up, and this guy named Toby has collapsed the whole left side of my line. Well, that kind of made me mad. So I bowed my head. Well, actually, what I did is I kind of turned my back, and I backed into the guy. And as I did, I felt myself going up. Then I felt myself going up a little higher. And I looked down, and Maxie had one leg, and Toby had the other one. And Maxie said to Toby, "Make a wish." Believe it or not, it actually happened that way. At least that's how I remember it. Football at Georgia Tech was fun. I finished my freshman eligibility. It was my freshman year, and we began to go into spring practice. And about halfway through spring practice, I got a message that Coach Dodd wanted to see me. And that's, a lot of times, that's not good news. So I went in to see Coach Dodd, and he told me, he says, "We like the progress you've made. Want to give you a scholarship." Wow, that was something. So I did. I got a scholarship starting that next year. If those of you who are familiar with football, you remember when John was talking about the players in a long time ago? Well, I'm one of those long time ago. We played in that era of the 60s one platoon football. Some of you may or may not understand what that means. That means that you played both ways, offense and defense. Typically what it did is whatever you played on offense, there was a corresponding defensive position. For instance, if you were the left guard, you were the left inside linebacker on defense. I was the fullback, and I was also the outside linebacker on the left side. It was fun playing both ways, and I dare say I probably would not have played at Georgia Tech if it had not been both ways. I was good on defense. I was average on offense. But Coach Dodd liked the idea of being able to play a good defense. So anyway, I proceeded through my years. I was my first year of eligibility was 1960, and I was first team fullback, and I took that position for the next 3 years. Playing under Coach Dodd was a lot of fun. He had a good record. For instance, one of the records he had was he had never lost on national TV. We broke that record for him. Another record he had was he had never lost a bowl game. You're right, we broke that one too. But he was a great coach. He made football fun. So here I am, going through 3 years. I'm about to graduate. We just played a bowl game. I'm getting ready to play in the blue-gray game here in a few weeks. And I began to think about, what am I going to do? I had one of my coaches had taken a job at another university to be the head coach. And I talked to him about the idea of becoming an intern and learning what the coaching business was all about. I'd also been approached by one of the AFL teams about trying out kind of what I had done at Georgia Tech, walking on. I was graduating in engineering, so I had an opportunity to work in the construction. I had a military obligation look at me in the face. It reminded me of a quote that the poet Thoreau, the philosopher Thoreau, had said, "Most men live lives of quiet desperation." I was quietly desperate. Well, I had a lot of choices. What am I going to do? It was about this time that a guy came by and talked to our football team. And in the course of his conversation, or his talk, he asked a couple of questions. One question he asked was, have any of you tried to live a good life? I quietly wanted to raise my hand. He said, have any of you really tried to live a Christian life? Again, I wanted to raise my hand. He said, you know, it's really not hard to live a good life, to live a Christian life. It's impossible. Only one man in all the world and all history ever lived a Christian life, a good life, and that was Jesus Christ. He said, the only way for you to live that kind of life is by letting him live it in you. I know as a young man that I'd been to church a lot. I know I probably heard the gospel a lot. But for some reason that night, what this guy said made sense. So that night, in the quiet of my own room, I got down beside my bed on my knees, and I asked Jesus Christ to come into my life. I got up, went to sleep. I got up the next morning, went to class. Nothing changed. And I don't have a lot of teammates here, don't have many at all, but if you had known me back in January of 1963 and see me today, you would probably not see much difference. There's not a whole lot of difference externally. But internally, there's been a war going on. There's been change going on. So just like several other people have said are here already, John Sharp has done an excellent job with his staff and all the volunteers to make this a really nice presentation. One last thing I will say, if somebody out there has never made that exciting discovery of knowing Christ personally, I'd encourage you to do so, because there's another Hall of Fame that's available. Thank you.
This evening's next inductee is Kelly Pittman. Kelly Pittman graduated as valedictorian and Miss Vidalia High School in 1988. She lettered 4 years on the boys' golf team because there was not a girls' golf team at the time. She was a member of the 1985 state champion golf team and the 1986 state runner-up team. She participated as an amateur on the girls' circuit while in high school and was the 1987 and 1988 Georgia State Golf Association Girls Junior Champion and was a Georgia qualifier for the Optimist Junior World. In 1988, she was the Georgia PGA Junior Girls Champion. Kelly signed a scholarship to play golf at Florida State University, where she lettered for 4 years. Her junior year, she had 2 top 10 finishes and placed 16th in the ACC Championship and 67th at the NCAA Championship. Her senior year, she had the lowest score on the team and placed at the ACC Championship and finished 38th at the NCAA East Regionals. In 1993, Kelly was named Most Outstanding Senior Female Athlete at Florida State University. She was a 1990, 1992, and 1993 NCAA Academic All-American. In 1992, she earned her Bachelor of Science in Public Relations from Florida State University, graduating magna cum laude, and in 1993 earned her Master of Science in Communication from Florida State. In 1993, she competed as an amateur and was a United States Women's Amateur quarterfinalist and was ranked in the top 10 players nationally by Golf Week magazine. During 1994 and 1995, Kelly competed professionally on the Futures Tour. In 1998, she earned a Class A membership in the PGA of America and began working with the PGA. She has received numerous honors and awards with her work with the PGA, including the Georgia PGA Assistant Professional of the Year in 1998. 1999 was the first female elected to the Georgia PGA Board of Directors. In 2012, she was the Marketing and Membership Director for Southern Texas PGA. In 2017, she was the Career Consultant for the PGA of America. In 2021, she was the Regional Leader for the PGA of America's Career Service Department. In 2022, the Regional Director of the PGA of America's Member and Selection Operations. She was the Executive Director for the Northern Texas PGA in 2023. And in 2023, she has earned the quarter-century member status with the PGA of America. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in welcoming to the Vidalia Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023, Kelly Pittman.
Thank you. I have a few things I want to share tonight and a few people to thank, and I don't want to take too much time because I know Jill Poole's coming after me and she's got some minutes. First, it's almost surreal being back here in Vidalia after quite a few years of being away. So when this summer, a few months ago, when I got the call, I was sitting at work. I've lived in Texas since 2010, so it's not that often that I see a Vidalia number come across on my cell phone. This number comes across on my cell phone, what's the first thing I think? Something bad must have happened to somebody I love. But it was John. And he gave me the news, and I got off the phone, and I was shocked, honestly, because I've never been the best golfer in my household. There are 3 guys sitting on the row that I'm sitting on tonight. My dad, who's the longtime head professional here at Vidalia Country Club. My brother Drew, who graduated in the class of 1984 here, who was a very good player. And my husband, I married a golfer. My husband Steve played professionally for about 15 years. So honestly, I've never been the best golfer in the family, but I'm really honored to be here tonight. When I played golf at Vidalia High School, I actually learned this as part of this process. Girls golf was not a recognized sport in the state of Georgia until 1998. So I graduated in '88, and I really didn't know any differently than just playing with the boys. I had grown up playing with the boys at the club and practicing with them all the time, and I consider myself really fortunate to have played on the boys golf team here at Vidalia High School, and I have some pretty key takeaways, I would say, from playing with the boys. First, don't expect anybody to cut you any slack in life. literally. I mean, poor Coach Parsons drove us around, me and a bunch of guys in the maroon van, to our matches. And I always sat in the row right behind Coach Parsons because I knew that's the best place to be. Not going to get in trouble. So I sat in the row right behind Coach Parsons. But if you ever fall asleep on the way home from a golf match with a bunch of sweaty, smelly guys, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a nasty, like, sweat sock pulled across your face from behind. I'm pretty sure I can still smell it. It was so disgusting. But those are the kind of things that happened on the van. But what I really learned is, you know, you get what you work for. You get what you work for. And playing with those guys made me work incredibly hard, and that helped me get where I wanted to be in the game of golf. The second thing, you know, occasionally in my line of work with the PGA, I get to speak to groups of female athletes or female executives, and people say, oh, it must have been, you know, crazy challenging being the only girl or the only female doing this, or, you know, the only female director with the PGA or whatever it might be. And my answer to that is, no, it's really easy. Really easy, because A, the guys that are surrounding you believe in you. They want to see you be successful. Really, if you think about it, it's all a matter of perspective. 99% of the people really want you to succeed. So don't worry about the 1%. 99% of the people are for you. And you just have to look at it that way. Don't ever look at the detractors. The final thing is, I was blessed with some amazing mentors. And I think a lot of you in the room would say the same. A lot of people tonight have recognized their coaches. And I would definitely be remiss if I didn't mention two great mentors to me. The first was Coach Parsons, for sure. I know a lot of you in the room would say the very same thing. Amazing guy. You know, we had a pretty talented team when I was at Vidalia High School, and I vividly remember us going to tournaments and winning, getting back in the van, laughing, cutting up, and him getting on the van and just giving us the wrath because he did not think we played up to our ability. So even if we won, it was not enough. And he taught us that, you know, to, you know, be your best. Don't be happy with anything less than your best. Amazing, amazing coach. And the second is really my dad. Dad is almost 84, will be 84 in February, still teaching the game of golf. He still has junior golfers getting scholarships to college now. When I went to Florida State University, my college coach would say to me before every tournament, is your dad going to be there? I'm like, I'll check, you know, and she said, your dad is the best golf parent I've ever coached. She said, let me take that back. I'm not coaching him. He's coaching me. But when he came to our tournaments, and some of you in the room had the opportunity to learn the game of golf from my dad, but when he came to our tournaments, he had a way of uplifting the team. And he does that by making you believe that you can do more than you think you can do. And that's a pretty special quality to have. And it's something, you know, for me, thinking about the people that I get to work with in the golf industry every single day, it's something that I want to do. I want to instill that quality in other people and make them believe they can do more than they can. And guess what? Usually they do that. They do just that. So I've been very, very fortunate. It's an honor to be here tonight and be with so many of you that I haven't seen in so long. And I'm proud to be a Florida State Seminole, and I'm proud to be a Vidalia Indian. Thank you.
This evening's next inductee is Jill Poole. Jill Poole is a 1987 graduate of Vidalia High School. She lettered 4 years in 4 different sports. In softball, she was a 4-year starter and was the winning shortstop and MVP on the 1986 state championship softball team, the first female state champion team in school history. In basketball, she was a 3-year starter at point guard and helped lead her team to an 83-26 record, advancing to the state quarterfinals once and also made an appearance in the state Sweet 16. In cross country, Jill won the individual region championship all 4 years of high school. During her senior year, she won the first and to this point, only individual state championship, leading her team to a 4th place finish at state, the highest in school history. In track, Jill was the region champion in the 1,600 and 3,200 meter runs all 4 years in high school. She set the school record in both events and placed 3rd in the 3,200 meter run in 1986. She signed with Valdosta State and ran cross country and played softball, where she received the team MVP award. After college, Jill coached college softball at Bruton Parker for 13 years, winning 1 conference title. She also assisted coaching basketball for 3 years and was part of a conference championship team. In 2000, Jill started officiating high school basketball and softball and was recognized as the Georgia Athletic Coaches Association Official of the Year. She has officiated multiple state championship softball and basketball games. She has also officiated at the college level in basketball and softball, including Division I, II, III, NAIA, and junior college. Jill has also officiated the regionals and super regionals at the national level in softball. Jill is a graduate of Bruton Parker College and has worked for 21 years at Heartland Academy in Mount Vernon. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in welcoming Jill Poole to the Vidalia High School Hall of Fame class of 2023.
What an honor. Thank you for the committee. Thank you, John, for spearheading this. Congratulations to all the inductees, individuals, and team that was inducted tonight. I had a wonderful time growing up. My family invested in me, made the sacrifices. James and Shirley Poole allowed me to do what I wanted to do, and that was to bounce the basketball, throw a softball, and run the roads. Literally, a lot of miles on roads. That was a lot of getting up early, long days, getting in late on a Saturday night, running to a Sunday morning, and being at Sunday school at 10 a.m. that Sunday, a few hours later. And just thankful that they sacrificed their time and financially allowed me to do it. The recreation department, Coach Smith, Coach Sasser, Greg James, Bill James, James Lowe, Gary Adams, John Sharp. I stayed there. I stayed at the rec, if it was at the softball field or in the gym, and they said, hey, just start working for us. That was my first job. I knew right then, hey, I'm going to be a coach. And they needed coaches. I was in high school, and they needed volunteer coaches. And, hey, yeah, we loved it. My sisters and I did it. I had such a competitive desire to win ball games. And that competitive started at birth. You all know. You all know that there was 2 with me, Jennifer and Judy, my teammates for life. I wanted to outdo them in anything possible. It didn't matter what it was, I was going to do it. So that's where the competitiveness started. So go through the rec department, and I'd come into high school, and Coach Goodman and Coach Gravy is going to be my coaches. This is probably how it went. Hey, football coaches, we need somebody to coach a women's sport, a girls' sport. Will you do it? And I am thankful they did. Nancy, I know what you're talking about. They tricked me into training as well. We'd be at the finish line or the starting line, and we'd have to run the track. And all right, Jill, don't let them beat you. Bam, we'll go. We'd get to the other side, we'd walk around, and he's got another group. Jill, don't let them beat you. And I did that, and that was my training. And back then, had no idea that was training. Coach Goodman, and again, they were football coaches, and they sacrificed so much of after football practice, and a lot of times during football. We ran those bleachers a lot during football practice. And I was thankful for Coach Goodman. He saw something special in me, and he knew that I could just run and I couldn't get tired. And he trained me, and I can remember winning, coming to the finish line, the state cross-country meet, and just seeing him was just rewarding. It was rewarding. Then I got to play, poor Coach Reed. He had me in 2 sports. So softball, he knew I could lead. He put me out at shortstop, and he knew I could get the team together, and we could just overcome anything. And we won our region tournament or whatever it was back then, and we're going to the state tournament. And prior to that time, making it there, our star second baseman, Terry Hilton, she got in a car wreck. Now, I'll tell you how good Coach Reed was. We never saw him worry. We never did. But he's worried. Well, what am I going to do? I got to now shuffle my team, my defensive, my offensive lineup for the state tournament. And he did it. He's bringing in the outfielder to go to first, and he's moving my sister Jennifer over to go play second. And we go, and we have to play Jackson. They're defending state champions. And back then it was just 4 teams, double elimination on a one-day Saturday. So we're having to play a defending champion of Jackson, and they beat our brains out. They beat us badly. And again, you never saw him worry. But he rallied us together, and we battled back, and we're in the championship game, and we're going to win it. We need 1 out, and I don't recall the score, but I look over at my third baseman. I tell Gina Brock, I said, Gina, I don't care where this ball's batted. I'm going to make this 3rd out. About that time, the pitch, Melissa throws the pitch up there, and it's fouled up to Lauren Bettyfield, our catcher, and I was going to knock her out of the way to go get that one, but I couldn't get there in time. But I cannot speak enough of Coach Reed and the influence he was in my life. So we get on the van, and we make it back, and he tells us, he says, hey, listen, all of you guys that's now coming out for basketball, just take a week off. Well, you know Jill Poole, she's there next day. And Coach Reed in the ball games, all you heard was, Jill Poole! Jill Poole! I could be on the bench taking a drink of water, and him just still yelling, Jill Poole! Coach, I'm over here. I'm not even out there right now. Coach, stop yelling. I'm right. Tommy Daly, you can probably go in that old gym, and it's in the rafters echoing, Jill Poole! But he knew I would go through that wall for him, for my teammates, for our team. I'd get every loose ball on the floor. He knew he had something special in me, and he wanted to get the best out of me. As everyone else has said, teammates are what pissed me up here. And we were very fortunate on that state championship team, to have 6, 7, 8 seniors, and probably 3 or 4 or 5 juniors. And we just grew up just playing the game together that we loved. going to All-Stars with the rec department, Coach Smith. I probably gave you a lot of headaches as well. Thank you for allowing me to come back. But we just had fun. But I could not have done it without my teammates. And social media, I'm thankful for it that we get to stay up. What Vidalia High School athletics taught me a lot. It taught me how to be an educator. It taught me how to coach. It taught me, still officiating today, how to be still a crewmate. And I've always wanted to be prepared. Always. Everybody that knows me. I can remember getting picked up by my first Power 5 officiating. And besides telling my family and everything, I couldn't wait to go tell Coach Reed. I could not wait. And his smile, it was just so rewarding that he, even though years later, that he was happy that I was doing something that I wanted to do. But what is just instilled in me as being an educator and still on the field, I got from here. I got from the rec department. And I am so thankful that Vidalia High School has this Hall of Fame, that you can recognize what we just did it on the field. But Vidalia High School, you really are the ones that did it for us. I got into officiating. Bruce Morkey may not remember this, but I was doing a little middle school game. I think he was coaching maybe Wheeler County or something. And, you got to start out at middle school, right? And I was just happy to have a whistle. And he comes up to me and he said, I think you're pretty good at this. Would you like to do this at the next level? And I'm like, well, it's just a middle school game. What you see? But anyway, so he came up and he goes, I'll get you invited to a camp. And that's how I got started in officiating. Alan Smith is the one that approached me. And so thankful that Alan saw something in me and that I can use it and still give back and in the sports that I loved, basketball and softball. God gives us the talents. We just got to go use them. And I am so thankful. The Christian household that I grew up in and the sacrifices that they made, again, to allow me to just do what I loved and continue. I'm so thankful God's allowed me to continue health-wise, knowledge-wise, and to continue to be prepared in life and going on the next field and the next court. Thank you.
This evening's next inductee is Tommy Sasser. Tommy Sasser graduated in 1970, where he excelled in 4 sports while at Vidalia High School. He lettered 3 years in track and baseball and 4 years in basketball and football. In track, he lettered 3 years. In baseball, he lettered 3 years and was a starter on teams that won region in 1967 and 1968. In basketball, he lettered 4 years and was a 3-year starter. His junior year, he was selected to the all-tournament team during the Lions Christmas tournament, and his team won region, advancing to the Final Four. He was selected as the most athletic by his senior class. Tommy's most memorable athletic performances, though, were on the football field. He was a 4-year letter winner and a 2-year starter at quarterback for the Indians. His senior year, he was selected as one of the captains. The team would go on to finish with a 14-0 record, the school's first, earning Vidalia their only football state championship thus far. Tommy helped lead his team to a 37-13-1 record over his 4 years. After the season, he received numerous awards, including the Macon Telegraph All-Middle Georgia quarterback, the Savannah Morning News All-Coastal Georgia team. He was AJC All-State Honorable Mention. The 1969 team was voted into the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame last year, and he was selected to the Vidalia High School Silver Anniversary Team in 1975. After high school, Tommy signed a scholarship with the University of Tampa, where he lettered 4 years at Tampa, backing up future NFL quarterback Freddie Solomon. While at Tampa, he played in the Tangerine Bowl, now the Citrus Bowl, and was inducted into the Tampa Hall of Fame in 2008. After graduating, he taught and coached at several schools, including Vidalia, when the football team was 12-1 and won a region championship. After several years in sales, Tommy returned to replace Coach Ed Smith as the Vidalia Recreation Department Director and served from 1994 until retiring in 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the Vidalia High School Athletic Hall of Fame's class of 2023, Tommy Sasser.
Well, I'm in trouble. Lynn and Wendell have shared everything I was going to share tonight, so you're in for a great treat. I'm going to wing it. I do want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for putting me in this great class of athletes. I heard and I was told that at the last Hall of Fame meeting, John Sharp said, "Do you think we'll have a good turnout?" Phyllis James said, "Listen, if the Sasser family shows up, that auditorium will be half full." But I would like to thank you for being here tonight. These three men have been mentioned over and over and over. They've made such an impact in my life, and that's Coach Smith and Coach Cravey and Coach Parsons. Now, if you lived in Vidalia, the rec department was a place to hang out, and Coach Smith was the rec department. He did everything. As an 11-year-old, he introduced me to football, baseball, basketball, and track. And he coached all four sports. And Coach Smith, before I go any further, I want to thank you for moving me from offensive guard to quarterback. I would have made another day of practice if I'd have stayed at an offensive guard. But let me tell y'all something. Coach Smith wasn't like he was up here a minute ago. I'm going to tell you, he was tough. I can remember one particular practice. We were having a terrible day, and Coach Smith blew the whistle, and he said, "Sasser, you run like a fly doing a backstroke in cold syrup." Now, that's slow. Coach Smith, after several years of therapy, I got over that, and I'm doing much better now. And then there was Coach Cravey. Let me tell you about Coach Cravey. I loved Coach Cravey. I'd run through a brick wall for Coach Cravey. He was a great motivator, a great coach, and a great person. But you see, Coach Cravey and I didn't see eye to eye when it came to calling plays. You see, I like to throw the football. I remember one night I went to the sidelines and I said, "Coach Smith, Lynn is wide open. I can throw the ball to him." He put his arm around my shoulder and kind of moved my jersey around, and he said, all right, two blast. Y'all know we ran the two blast 6 straight plays in a row. 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, first down. 4 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, first down. I look at the sidelines. George Rafer's coming in with a play, and I said, "What is it, George?" He said, "Two blast." I got in the huddle, and I said, "Okay, y'all, right, two blast." Our tailback, Glenn Frost, he says, "I can't do it. I'm out of breath. I can't run it." So I said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. Let's fake the two blast, 2 bootleg pass." So we break the huddle. I go to the line of scrimmage. I call the snap count. I fake the 2 blast, I bootleg around the end. Lynn's wide open. I throw it to him. He catches it. He runs a touchdown. The crowd goes crazy. I go back to the sidelines, and Coach Cravey's waiting on me. "Why'd you change that play?" I said, "Coach, Lynn was out of breath. He couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't run it. Next time you call timeout, go sit on the bench." He set me down 2 series. I never changed another play. I do want to thank my teammates. They played such a vital role in our success. And it's been mentioned earlier, what a great senior year, 14-0, state champions, beating Lithonia in Vidalia 7-6 for the state championship. And Our defense stopped Lithonia 4 times inside the 20-yard line for us to win it. And then there was Coach Parsons. Now, let me tell you about Coach Parsons. He was the most intelligent, brilliant man that I ever knew. Matter of fact, I felt a little intimidated by being around him. I remember football pushed us deep into December, and we missed about 5 weeks of basketball practice, and Wendell and Lynn and Wayne Blunt and I were starters on the basketball team. And I remember that first week back. It was tough. We were trying to get ready for basketball and make the transition, and Coach Parsons was trying to cram in a lot because we had missed 5 weeks. And I remember one particular play. I played point guard, and I was supposed to pass the ball, pick, roll, do a Z-cut, come back around the backside. If I'm not open to shoot, pass it back to the middle, go back to the front of the key. Let me tell you something. All that, I got lost in the shuffle. And Lynn was wrong. This is actually the truth. This is what happened. Coach Parsons blew his whistle, and he said, Tommy Sasser, Lynn Hodgeson, you don't know what you're doing, and Tommy Sasser doesn't know that much, and that's the truth. But you know, Coach Parsons never gave up on us. He continued coaching us, and he led us all the way to the Final Four our junior year, and we made the playoffs our senior year. And you know, looking back at my life in Vidalia was a great place to grow up and live, and we were just so blessed and fortunate to have these 3 godly men coach us. And I'll always be grateful, Coach Smith, for all of y'all. And in closing, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this special award and for this special night. And this is an award that I'll always remember and a night that I'll never forget. Thank you. God bless you.
Our final inductee of the night is Johnny Taylor. Johnny Taylor graduated from Vidalia in 1978. He is considered by many to be the greatest football player to ever play for the Vidalia Indians. He also ran track for 2 years, but his greatest legacy was playing some of the best football Vidalia High School has ever seen. Johnny was a 4-year letter winner and a 4-year starter, playing 3 of those 4 years at fullback and linebacker. His freshman year, the Indians were 1-8-1, but in his sophomore year, Coach Cravey returned to coach the Indians, finishing the season at 7-3. That year, they defeated Lions, who would go on to win the Class B state championship. They missed the playoffs when they lost to Irwin County 9-6 on a very controversial goal line call. Irwin County would then go on to win the Class A state championship. During his junior year, the Indians would win the region title, losing to the eventual state champion, Turner County, in the semifinals, one of only 2 trips to the semifinals in the last 52 years. After the season, Johnny was named All-Middle Georgia by the Macon Telegraph after rushing for over 1,000 yards and leading his team in tackles. During his senior year, Johnny served as team captain, helping to lead his team to a 9-2 record. He again led his team in tackles, and he rushed for over 1,400 yards. At the end of the year, he was named first team All-Middle Georgia by the Macon Telegraph. Johnny was also named Class A Back of the Week after rushing for over 213 yards. He also had 8 tackles with 6 assists and had an interception in a 26-0 win in a game when he scored all the points. Johnny was also named first team All-State by the AJC. After graduation, he served our country 6 years in the National Guard and worked with the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers up till his retirement in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in welcoming Johnny Taylor to the Vidalia Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023.
Well, guys, it's kind of hard to follow the class that's been up here. I got notes. I want you to know that it's a privilege and honor to be accepted to this Hall of Fame of Vidalia High School. I want to thank John Sharp and the committee. And I want to thank our good Lord for giving me the ability to do this. I also want to thank my mother and father, my brothers, Robert and Lehman, and where we played in the backyard out on the hill. That was some tough football games, guys. Y'all have no clue. And to the teachers and the staff and everyone that sticks with you, they help. It's not only coaches, it's the teachers and the staff and everyone that they keep pushing you. And that's what it takes. We go to coaches. Ed Smith. I won a state title with Ed Smith in midget varsity. He started, guys, it's unbelievable. I can believe, I was in a game. I was playing my heart out. It's kind of like everyone said, it was a small, you're a small team, you played both ways. I can remember I jammed my finger, and if you ever had a jammed finger real bad, it hurts. And being 12 years old, 13 years old, it's tough. I come to the sideline, and I said, God, this is hurting. Coach Smith said, if you will, play this next play and come back, and I have you some tape for you. And, that's the same thing my father would have told me. So, Coach Smith, we talk about Buck Cravey. Not a whole lot of guys, that in Buck Cravey's time, like Tommy Sesser said, Lynn, you talking about getting excited. You have no clue unless you was on that sideline and you was a captain that you had to go talk to that man. Hey, guys, you would be up there, and when you went to in my years, Tommy and them played. He was a little younger, Buck was, but when I played, you would have to stand to the side when Buck Cravey was talking to you. He not only ate grass or hay, he chewed tobacco, guys. And in his later years, when I was playing, it's like there's a lot of older people in here or middle-aged people. Your teeth don't come together as they did when you was younger. So when you come to the sideline to talk to him, and if you didn't turn your helmet to the side, you had stuff coming at you. And he was so great. It's like Tommy said, and he'd have that towel around his neck and them sleeves rolled up on his arms. And it was just, you got to get out there and get it. And, you work so hard for these coaches. You want to make the best, and they want to make the best for you. These coaches and playing football, and just having these coaches was so great for me. I had a great family coming up. I practiced, and there's people in here that can tell you, I practiced just like I played. I didn't know no other way to do it. 100%. That's what I did. And, we've heard it all night. I would not be up here. None of us would be up here. It's, you know, there's certain individual sports, but most of us has team members. We don't hear of very many linemen, that defensive backs, stuff like that that's going to be able to get up here. Hopefully they will in the years to come. But that's the people that opened the hole for me to where I was able to gain 1,400 yards from a fullback position with Buck Cravey with his motto, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And that's how we played. Bennett, I could not listen to your speech last year. I was not here. But I was told about it, and I went online. The notoriety or the deserving speech that you made and put me with other players throughout your career, that was an honor in itself to me. And I want you to know personally that thank you, sir, for recognizing me. I have another team member that I did play with, and we was captains, co-captains on the football team, was Johnny Carter. He played tackle. If you played under Buck Cravey, you run 0 and 1 crossbow. And I could come through that line of scrimmage, round the center, and I could be facing that linebacker right in my face. And he didn't know what was coming. It didn't matter which side I run to, here come one of my linemen, one of the tackles, and he would wipe him out right in front of me. He would go. Johnny Carter was a great player too. I would like to thank my wife, June. My daughter went to school here, Jessie. Her husband, David. I got 2 great grandkids. Ella, that's a dancer and a redhead, and y'all know what redheads are. And then I got a grandson that's an archer. He is good, guys. He takes archery like I did football or sports. In sports, I went into Boilermaking. I don't know if very many people understand that. I'm a welder, rigger. I worked construction. And later in years, by getting the toolage from Ed Smith, Buck Cravey, Ralph Parsons, and the coaches, it enabled me to work crews out on construction sites and give them the drive to do just like we did in football. Guys, it's like Mr. McNames said, if y'all don't take anything from here tonight, please give Jesus Christ a chance to come into your heart and be your Savior before he calls you home. Thank y'all.
Thank you guys for being here, and I know we just got a few more minutes. Class of 2023, you exceeded all our expectations. You knocked it out of the ballpark tonight, and this will be recorded to be shown for years to come. You're the type of examples that we want to set to our students to show that they can emulate your character, your work ethic, and your drive to go ahead and continue the excellence that we all desire. I also want to thank the class of 2022. I know we had a number of them that were here. Appreciate you being here, and this is a very special fraternity. So I ask that you wait just a couple more minutes. We've asked Ben Utt to come up, class of 2022, and he's going to tell you an opportunity that we have as we're moving forward with the Hall of Fame. Ben?
Hey, John. Hey, John. I do have a couple of things to say too. First of all, how about that class 2023? Unbelievable group. Unbelievable group. And Coach Smith, thanks for touching so many lives, man. You and I got something in common because you're looking at a blessed man. Thank you. This community of sports really kind of brings us together too. I haven't seen Johnny in probably 40 years, and if y'all didn't hear what I said about him last year, is I've had the opportunity to play with three of the greatest running backs of all time. Eric Dickerson on the Colts, who's in the NFL Hall of Fame, Italy Ivory at Georgia Tech, who's in the College Hall of Fame, and Johnny Taylor, who's in the Vidalia Hall of Fame. And I have a hard time deciding which one's number 1, 2, and 3, because Johnny was good. And then I got to hang out with Mike McNames also, who we'd never met before too. But if you go to Georgia Tech, played sports there, you know Mike. You know who Mike is. And Mike was teammates with my college coach, Bill Curry, who actually came to Vidalia and recruited me to go to Georgia Tech. And what was funny is I was talking to Coach Curry on the way down here. I called him in the car and I said, Coach, remind me again why is it so important? And he said, it's because this is how life is supposed to be. Because on a football field, when it's fourth quarter, fourth down, 4 yards to go in 4 seconds, doesn't matter what your color is. Doesn't matter what your religion is. Doesn't matter what your last name is or what you got in the bank account. All that matters is what we do together as a team. What we do next as a team. I really believe in that too. John Sharp and his team, they've done an incredible job creating this honor. And look, it's great to be recognized, but there's a purpose here too. And the purpose is to inspire, create a legacy, and be invested for the next group of athletes from Vidalia. So with that said, can you turn the lights up? Can you turn the lights up in here? With that said, if you guys get out your brochures, everybody's got a brochure, right? There's a QR code in here. Who knows what QR stands for? Who went to Georgia Tech? All right? Quick response. Actually, I just looked that up because I know it's coming up here. But there's a QR code in here to be able to make a donation to the Vidalia Athletes Hall of Fame Foundation. All right? So we're going to be looking for that. And with that said, hey, John, with that said, I want to add a few things to the hall, and I wanted to donate a couple things. So, Colts helmet. This was from the first Monday night game in Indianapolis, Halloween night, where Eric Dickerson scored four running plays. Of course, you know the announcers always say Eric Dickerson scores off a left guard, where they should be saying running back scores off of Ben Utt. But anyway, it works that way. One of my game jerseys, and then also from the Utt family, a check for $1,000 to help get the foundation started. The last thing too that I'm going to donate this too because someone stuck it in my bag. I didn't bring it down here, but it's Bulldog Illustrated beat Tech on Happy Thanksgiving. So I was at that game here. You can have those too. Hey, y'all donate. Take this. Y'all donate. Let's keep this thing going and make this really the best Hall of Fame here in the state of Georgia. All right? Thanks.
I had all these things that I was going to say, but there's no way I'm going to try to top that. What an incredible night. We're so proud of all of the athletes here tonight, but I am more proud of the quality of people that took the stage tonight. Thank you for being role models. Thank you for setting that standard of excellence for our student athletes. John Sharp, thank you for your passion. You're not going to get the talk. Stop.
No, Carol said to tell all inductees we haven't got the group picture yet. Please meet right outside. That's all.
Don't leave. Don't leave. Come on back. One more round of applause for John Sharp. Listen, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a happy evening. Go Indians.
Inductees, please make it wait right outside in front of the screen for a picture. All inductees.